Hello guys, this is Prime Concept. In this video, I'll be introducing a very important topic which is circles, and the concept of circle is too important to a physicist, to an engineer, and then to a health scientist and every other student. So it's always important to get the basics of these things so that when you'll be needing to apply them, you can easily apply them. So if you want to learn a detailed explanations around circles, please do well to stick with me in this video till the end and the concept will be clear to you. Meanwhile, if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please do well to hit the subscribe button, like this video at the end, comment and share with your friends. Tell them it is Prime Concept. And let's look at the concept of circles. Now, first of all, what do we know a circle to be? We've always known and seen the shape circle right from primary school, right? Yes, but we want to define a circle in this video and look at some of the properties of a circle. What is a circle? A circle is a set of points that moves such that it makes a constant distance from that point to a fixed point. I would repeat it. A circle is a set of points that moves such that the distance from that point that moves to a fixed point would remain constant. That is a circle. That is to say, if I have if I have this is a fixed point, this is a fixed point, and I have some points here, x comma y, that can move. When you say x y, it means x can be any value. X is a variable. X can be 1, 2, 3, and so on. So if this point moves to a new position, which I would call p1, now x1, y1, right? It moves to a new position. If you measure the distance from this point to this fixed point, and you measure the distance from this new point to this fixed point, this distance and this distance will be the same. If I get to another point, say P2, which is now x2, y2, and I still measure the distance from this point P2 to this point, this distance will be the same as this, the same as this. I do the same, I keep repeating this thing. Then, if I keep getting same distance, it simply means that the path that is traced out by this point that moves is what you know as what? A circle. And that fixed point that is formed somewhere at the center is what you know as the center of that circle. So to draw for you, which you already know, a circle is of this shape. This is the shape of a circle, which you know. Of course, I won't be drawing to scale because I'm using freehand. So this is a circle. So this is the center of our circle, right? Now, say we have a coordinate system. This is y, and then this is x, right? And then we pick some arbitrary point, say p, and then we have p has coordinates x and y. Of course, the distance from the center of the circle to any fixed point, any point on the circumference, you know as what? The radius of this circle. Now, let's say this circle, like you can see in my diagram, it is not at the origin. So let's say the coordinate of this point, since the circle does not lie at the origin, let's say the coordinate of this point, the center, is A and B. Now, if I want to find the equation that governs this circle, I would recall something we did from straight lines. Of course, you know that this radius is a straight line, right? So the distance, the length of this radius is going to, I would use that to generate the equation of a circle. So let's quickly do that. So the distance is going to be what? It's going to be x minus a. So I have x minus a all squared plus y minus b all squared. This would equal to what now? Is equal to r squared, right? Yes. So the equation I have here is what we know as equation of a circle that whose center does not lie at the origin. So this is the equation of a circle. Now, assuming that my circle lies at the origin of my coordinate system, what it would simply mean, if the circle lies at the origin it would mean that my points A and B would simply be 0, comma what? 0, because at the origin, the point, the value of y is 0, the value of x is 0. So if my circle lies at the origin, then this would be A and this would be B. So if I substitute them there, my equation of circle would reduce to x minus 0, which is x all squared. Then this becomes y minus 0, which is then y all squared, equals what? R squared. So this is the equation of a circle that whose center lies at the origin. So for this case, we would have something like this. This would be our circle. This would be our circle, such that the center of that circle lies at the origin. So this is a more general form, so that when you have your center at the origin, you can simply replace A and B with 0 and you get this equation, right? Now, I want to still do some expansion for this equation. I'll call this equation 1, which is more general. I'll be using that. This is equation 2. So I'll be using equation 1 more often. Now you take notes. You take notes that you take notes at the center of the circle. Center of the circle given above is A, comma B. So if they ask you to find the center of a circle given an equation, you should know that the center would be the value of A and the value of B. So they represent the center of our circle, where R is equal to the radius of our circle. So I believe this is clear. But I want to still do some expanded form, which we'll be seeing more under exam conditions like JAMB exams, WAEC exams, your first year 100 level exams, and then your other exams, NEET and G exams. Now, if we expand this particular equation, you would have x squared minus 2xa, right? Yes. Then plus a squared. I think I would need a bit better space to do this. So let me do it here. So if I expand this, I'm trying to expand this, I would have x squared minus 2ax plus a squared, and plus, if I do the same for this, I would have y squared minus 2by plus b squared, right? Then this would be equal to r squared. So that if I bring everything to same side, I would have x squared minus 2ax. Then I would have plus what now? Okay, let's do it this way. So I have x squared. I want to bring this closer. So I have plus y squared. And let's write this minus 2ax. Then let's write this minus 2by. Then I have this now plus what? A squared. Then plus b squared. If I take this, it becomes minus r squared equal to what? 0, right? I want to give the general form of equation of a circle. Now we have this. You will notice we can simplify this equation by setting, we'll set h, a new variable, to be equal to minus a, because we don't want minus in our equation. Same way, we'll set k to be a new variable, which is minus b. In same way, we'll set d, a new variable, to become this whole constant, which is going to be a squared plus b squared minus r squared, right? So invariably, if I replace, remember we've called h to be this, right? We've called k to be this. So it simply means that d is either this, or you can say that d is going to be h squared plus k squared minus r squared. So this is going to be our d, right? So that our new equation of a circle, the general equation of a circle, can now be written as, so the general equation would now be written as, now I have x squared plus y squared, right? Then my plus, now this would now be plus 2hx plus 2ky, then plus what? D equals 0. So the general form of equation of a circle is this. So that one of the ways we can know is that the coefficient of x squared and y squared should be the same. And then secondly, there is the condition that makes this to be an equation of a circle, which simply means that the condition for this equation to satisfy a circle is that h squared plus k squared minus r squared should always be greater than or equal to 0. That is to say, it should be a positive quantity, or at least it should have a value of 0. So if this condition is satisfied, then this will represent the general equation of a circle. So using this, we're going to take a quick example. But I'm not going to rub this. I'll manage the rest space. I will put a problem and solve now. Alright, so we have this problem to solve. So we're going to use this problem to understand the concept of circle very well. And the question says, find the center and radius of the circle whose equation is given by this. So we have a general equation. First, you can see clearly that the coefficient of x squared and y squared are the same. So when you're given a problem under exam condition and they ask you to verify if that equation represents a circle, one of the first things you want to check is the coefficient of x squared and y squared. If they are not the same, it means it should not represent a circle, even though there is still another condition, right? Which is the radius for that circle. So, but this time, what we want to get is we want to find the center of this circle and the radius. We can solve this in different ways. So I'm going to try to solve this in two ways, right? I'll be using this equation and then I'll be using completing the square method to solve this. So using this concept, first, I want to divide all through by 4 so that I can have the coefficient of x squared to be 1 in same way we have this. So if I divide all through this equation by 4, 4 in 4 is going to give me 1. So I have x squared plus, I would have what? Y squared. I would have minus 3 over 4x. I would have minus 8 divided by 4, which is what? 2y. And then I'll have minus 1 divided by 4. This should be equal to what? 0, right? The next thing I want to do is to know that my center, by comparing this to the standard form, I just rubbed it. By comparing this to standard form, let me rewrite. The standard form is x squared plus y squared plus 2hx plus 2ky then plus d equals 0. This is the standard form of equation of a circle. You can see this is x squared, this is x squared, this is y squared, this is y squared. Then it means that I have 2h equal to minus 3 over 4. So I can say that 2h is equal to minus 3 by 4. So that when I find h would become minus 3 by 2 times 4 is what? 8. So this is what I have as h, right? Then next, I want to find k. I will do the same thing, knowing that 2k is equal to minus 2. So I would say that 2k is equal to minus 2. So that when I divide both sides by 2, this can go, and then I'll have that k is minus 1, right? Now remember that earlier we mentioned that h is equal to minus a, and then k is equal to what? Minus b. This would simply mean that a is minus h, and then b is minus k. So it's still same thing. So that my a is actually going to be negative h, which is now going to be what? 3 over 8. And then my b is going to be negative k, which is now going to be what? 1. So it means that the center of my circle, center is 3 over 8, comma 1. So this is the center of my circle. And the next thing I want to find The next thing I want to find is the radius of my circle. The radius of my circle. Now you would also recall that we said that h squared plus k squared minus r squared is equal to d, right? Yes. So that if I take radius to this side, I will have that h squared plus k squared, this is coming, minus d would be equal to r squared. So that my radius becomes square root of h squared plus k squared minus d. So this is how I can find the radius. Now what do you think the value of d would be in this particular problem? You are very correct. By comparison, your d would represent minus 1 over 4. So if we use this, then we can find that our radius is square root of h. My h is what? Minus 3 over 8 all squared, plus my k, which is what? Minus 1 all squared, then minus my d now. My d is minus 1 by 4. There is no square for the d, so please take note of that. So if we solve for this, it would mean that our radius is going to be the square root. 3 is 9 by 64 plus 1 by 4. Thank you. Now if we take the LCM, we would get that our radius is going to be, our LCM is 64. So 64 and 64 is 1. 1 times 9 is 9. Then plus 64 times 1 is 64. Plus 4 in this is 16. 16 times 1 is 16. Right? So this is what we have. So quickly, let me add up. I have 16 plus 9 plus 64. So this would give me the square root of 89 all divided by 64. And the square root of 89 is 9, right? Okay, it's not 9, sorry. So I think this can just remain like square root of 89 divided by 4. No? 8. Thank you. 8. So it means that the radius of my circle is square root of 89 divided by 8. While the center of my circle is 3 over 8, comma 1. So with this, we've been able to answer this problem. Now remember I said we can still solve this particular question using completing the square method. So I would stop here so I don't make the video very long. In my next video, I'll solve another problem using this method and then completing the square method. So do well to stick and then follow the next video so the concept can be really clear for you. Thanks for watching. This is Prime Concept.